78% of suicide rates worldwide are men. What can we do to help them? Can we have a huge party and games with free food and shelter for everyone every year for 12 whole months? D. We could do a lot of things. But we won't. We as a society will never fix this problem. And men will continue to suffer in silence. Stop treating us like disposable, emotionless robots. If we are being completely honest, I believe that making prostitution legal would help tremendously, and I know it would not stop it completely, but it would help because most suicidal men are suicidal because they have no one they can turn for those types of needs. Provide support to the returning soldiers coming back from active operations who require help due to PTSD. Provide fairer outcomes from family courts in regards to access to their children and financial settlements from divorce. Provide support to farmers for fair dealings when they are dealing with sales to the larger supermarkets. The big two in Australia, Woolworths and Coles, exploit their power and provide lip service to their suppliers. These three are the main drivers of men's suicide. Stop telling them to man up or grow a pair because men suffer too. Ladies, please give us back rubs, scratches under our chins and play with our hair. Ask us what our favorite flowers are or if we want to bake a pie with you sometime. Everyone else, please pay us living wages so that we can actually exist outside of our jobs. I've been conditioned to think men are privileged as a result of historical context. So therefore that must be the case, and surely there isn't anything more to it. Understand the victories against young female suicides. We can blunt the numbers of panic suicides and we can give men ways out from premeditated ones. A security net. Give us an easier way out. Let men show emotions without making fun of them or calling them babyish. This is the natural order of things. Until we fix the world or start colonizing other worlds, we will continue to needlessly die at such high rates. Play more Halo Reach with the brothers. Some of the most insightful and helpful conversations I've ever had was on online games. Kiss your homies goodnight, my dears, smile, they are amazing people. It'll be alright, bro. Battle the macho culture that exists everywhere. Destigmatize utilizing mental health services including addiction treatment. Abandon the ridiculous and sexist concept of toxic masculinity. Suggesting that any aspect of masculinity is inherently toxic is fucking beyond toxic. Change their pronoun. Stop destroying the family and giving women more rights in family courts, etc. Provide them with a legal outlet for sexual pressure. Teach them to tie nooses, start renting guns, employer asphyxiationists. Don't screw them over during the divorce. Don't butcher them as babies, and that should solve most of the problems. It feels to me like guys too often use the lens of societal expectations to judge themselves. Do I have a wife/girlfriend? Do I make good money? Many men's marker of success. If they fall short on the above, they feel down. Also, men seem to develop superficial friendships. They all go out for beers or they all like the same sports team. Rarely are they open and vulnerable with each other. Having such friendships works fine if all else in your life is going fine. But if you have any kind of setback/crisis, who do you turn to? That's what I think needs to change. Men need to redefine what makes a man and what friendships between men look like. Just be nice to us. Equal custody. Give me a job in a career I don't despise. This may just be me and my own depressive issues. But help stop the new wave of modern feminism, because more often than not they scream things like, all men are rapists, even if it's just in their heads. Or when they assume that a girl is being kidnapped when she's really just in a store with her father. Also, I should clarify, I'm all for women's rights. But just the same as the LGBTQ and men's rights. I don't think any should be above the rest. All parties deserve equal rights as long as I live in America. Does that mean I agree with it all? No. Should they all still have freedom of speech? Yes. TLDR. Men are just as human as LGBTQ and women. Alright, now I expect to be hit with your best down votes lol. I dunno. A manual? Special knives, pills or ropes? More STEM opportunities for girls should do it. Destigmatize talking about our emotions. Bottling things up only makes them worse. Stop labeling them as members of an oppressive patriarchy. Work to get rid of the suck it up pussy mentality that most guys, especially as teens, face. It's almost as if 90% of the time guys are deprived of the ability to voice concerns or their emotional troubles purely because they're supposed to deal with it because they're a guy and that's what guys do. It's not healthy to bottle that shit up. It gets to you after a while and you feel like you can't talk to anyone without being emasculated or mocked. That can lead to a crushing sense of emotional loneliness and eventually depression. If a bro needs someone to talk to, be there for him. Sometimes we really do just need to vent, you know? Brothers can cry too, and ladies? If something's bothering your friend slash boyfriend slash spouse slash etc., ask him what's wrong and listen. It may take time for him to open up, but you'll probably be pleasantly surprised when he does. Men in many cases feel like the world is on our shoulders. We strive to be what is expected of us that we don't get to fathom out who we are as we're constantly focused on doing the next thing rather than the right thing. It's only as of late that we can have groups to help us express our emotions for once, but we're still at a disadvantage due to society's prejudice against men, which is why that there are so many negative stats related to men. With the ever-changing state of the world, we've reached a point of loss and confusion which can make us afraid and insecure for good reason, as there are many people who would rather hang a man for trying to get help than give him the equal amount of support that a woman would get. The lack of fathers and good male role models is also an issue, with many young men and boys lacking the masculine presence who will teach them about what to expect later in life, especially at the ages of 20 to 25, when you're hit with an overwhelming existential crisis which can either make or break you. Oh, I don't know, maybe normalize men actually fucking having and expressing intimate emotion? Don't make us feel like we have to learn about and deal with our own emotions on our own. Don't make that seem feminine and make men feel they have to protect their masculinity. Seriously, I have no idea how many guys I've met that were just so obviously dealing with some shit, but refused to admit it and deal with it, just because they thought they would look vulnerable and weak. In reality, you have to be pretty strong to openly express yourself as a guy without having to worry about how you look to other people, and I really feel like that's just not right. In addition to loneliness, etc. being talked about here, the methods of suicide that men tend to use are more likely to result in suicide. The rates of having suicidal thoughts/urges are either the same or slightly higher for women. I would need to research that again and am on mobile, but women are more likely to attempt suicide with medications or cutting, which allows for medical intervention. Men are more likely to use cars, hanging, and firearms, which are more lethal. Certainly one factor. Have a suicide hotline worldwide for all men. Advertise everywhere. Instead of trying to fix the men, which is complicated and requires knowledge in psychology and has no guarantee, we'll just send out hitmen. Technically their deaths, while tragic, will be murders, not suicides. Stop patronizing men for expressing anything less than the most masculine of characteristics. Less sexism would probably be helpful. Like giving men more/different job opportunities that would usually be for women. Honestly, I think sometimes we just need a break, just like anyone else, from work and expectations. Never feeling appreciated. Not assume that they get complimented every day. A simple compliment can help a lot. Give them something to work for. Reach out to your neighbor. Let them know that, in fact, people beyond tax collectors are watching. I didn't realize it was so high. Get me one of those mid-memory rays so I can forget my ex-fiancée and how fucking dirty she did me. She's still in my house, so I guess a moving company as well. Women would be naive to not take some responsibility for the high suicide rate of men though. Swipe right. Better mental health care. The day before I lost my father to suicide, he went to the hospital for help, but they were full. They gave him a prescription for Zoloft and sent him away. He took the entire bottle and fed a hose into the window of his van. He was 48. It's fucked. It will be 9 years on February 15th. Get them new hobbies like martial arts etc. so that they can meet new people and have something to loom forward to. Give us girlfriends/s. Encourage more women to jump. Delete it. Get rid of the social stigma against men talking about how they feel, normalize therapy, normalize medicine for mental health, and stop pressuring men to be strong.